But when we had Liam Cowan, the manager, up talking on Football Focus, and he just said, look out for us, because they'd done pretty well and they were the only team to beat Peel. So that says that they've got the credentials there. Since then, they've signed Dan Hattersley, and that was a great signing for them. And Dan did the damage last week, didn't he, when his 3 goals were giving them the 3-1 lead. And it looked as if they were going to inflict a defeat on Peel, but Peel showed character, came back in and it finished up 3-3. But no, I never counted Rushen out of it. I just thought that, with the points that they dropped, it showed that they were a little bit susceptible here and there. But since then, defensively, they've looked solid. Midfield have worked hard. And the delivery from the 3 front boys has been immense. When you look at Josh Kelly, Mike Williams, who had a great game last week, and Dan Hattersley, it's sitting them well. But I think the points that they've dropped could sort of total up at the end of the season, too costly for them to win the league, but who knows.
Speaking to Liam Cowan, he was saying how he wants to win. He's got that desire to win. It may have, the tutelage from Chris Balsini may have rubbed off on him. He's got that mentality where it doesn't matter what he's doing, he wants to win, he wants to be on top, and it seems like his players share that mentality, but it's going to be a very, very difficult match for them against a St Mary's side who are back to winning ways against a tough Corinthians opponents last weekend. Yeah,
from what I'm hearing, maybe St Mary's deserved to win it last week towards the end, but character is there to be thought of now, because when you look at those top players and top teams, it's all to play for, and I think it's fascinating. I've been listening to you, on 2 or 3 sports shows now, just saying it's so unpredictable, and it is, because normally we're talking about now that St George in the Railway Cup final are going to win it. They've near enough won the league, and it's just absolutely brilliant. It's putting a lot of talk in Manx football, and St Mary's showed again last week that they're not going to give up without a fight, because I think quite a few people are saying that it's looking the Peel St Mary's way, but I wouldn't count St George's out neither, or some of the others, because if they could put a run together, they've got each other to play, then they could take points off and climb up very quickly. That's how tight it is. But this is the business end now. The teams have got to put a lot of effort in training. You can't afford to miss any sessions, because they'll get penalised with the teams that are around. They're so fit. And with Rushen against St Mary's, great game. Where it's going to go, it's got a draw written on it. But I don't like draws, so maybe on form, you maybe edge it towards St Mary's. The reason why I say that, I just think Darren Hudgens hit the note right smack on the time that they needed it, because before that they were struggling really to score the goals from up front. They've got Frank and Jack there to score goals. Now they seem to have Darren Hudgens up front with, when you look at it, 10 goals in 3 games? He's flying.
Yes, he is, and it's brilliant as well that it is so close, because it's a real talking point. In previous seasons, because St George's have been that dominant force, the league has pretty much been won at this stage of the season. Nobody can, you couldn't see anybody else lifting that trophy, but there are so many teams in the mix at the moment. You would expect, though, the other title contenders to win their matches tomorrow. Douglas Royal against St George's, Moran against Peel, and Corinthians obviously hosting Douglas Athletic. Can you see any upsets in those fixtures, Tony?
Would we have said that 7 days ago with Douglas Royal against Old Boys? You would have said it's not going to happen. Old Boys are going to win it comfortably. You just don't know, and that was, to me, one of the biggest results of the season. For a team that's really struggling for every single point that they can get. I think they had 4 up until last week. And then suddenly with that big game against Old Boys, expected to have a heavy defeat, and actually have a heavy win, was incredible. And fair play to Michael Fitzmaurice and his players. With St George's, it's a tough one. St George's have had some real big results against Douglas Royal over the years, and I just wonder tomorrow, can it be that way? Because St George's would like to sort of get into the Railway Cup, or they're in the Railway Cup final, but go to the Railway Cup final with a really good performance, and there's no reason why it wouldn't stop. Corinthians against Douglas Athletic. Corinthians are a little bit disappointing the way it's gone for them, but I think they've got to look at the results, and they're not far away. They finished second 2 years ago. Last year they finished 4th, and those players won't give up. It's just maybe, and I'm feeling this way, a little bit of luck hasn't gone for them this year, as where the last couple of years it has. But no, you wouldn't bet against any of the teams that they're playing against them tomorrow, the lower teams. maybe trying to sneak some points away from them because it's all to play for.
Well, someone said to me this week that if Corinthians are to win the top flight this year, they'll have to win every remaining game. I'm sure it's a challenge that they're willing to take on. They have to start tomorrow against Douglas Athletic, another team who will have to win a considerable amount of games, you would think. Laxey, because it's worrying times for them.
It is worrying times. I know that they've got one or two of the university guys who'll be coming back shortly, so it'll make them stronger. But I looked at their fixtures that they've got, not next week because we've got a free week next week because we've given them all a weekend off to enjoy the festivities. But the week after that, we've got some fixtures, and then we're into the FA Cup. And I just don't know whether they can capitalise on having those players back home from university. But yeah, the pressure's on them. Moran have only played 9 games, so they've got the games in hand, and all the bottom sides have got to play each other. So I don't think it's panic stations, but Douglas Royal are doing themselves a world of good. Bradner are already relegated. We know that one. And then you look at the others. When you look at, sort of around Castletown and sort of Laxey, it's all between those three, I feel, to slip up and lose them points that they need so valuably to get themselves higher up in the league.